Hi, everybody. Good day to you whenever you're watching this. My name is Arjun Ravindra. And so this video will be the short onboarding video for summer school 2025 at KCPS. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through the slides, which are going to link to all the curriculum materials. Okay, so at this moment, we are seeing the slides for summer school 2025. And as I said, my name is here, Arjun Ravindran. If you need to email me, just type my name into Outlook and I should pop right up, Arjun, Arjun. Okay, here is the link to the slides. You'll just type this link in, tinyurl.com, and then this code Y2P5Z4BJ, and that'll take you to these slides. So you'll have access to all the links in the slides. Also, here's a QR code that you can scan, which will take you to these slides. So definitely get these slides pulled up because they're going to be how you can very easily access the curriculum materials. Super. So the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask you to take the attendance/info. So just kind of need to know who's watching this video, who's teaching math 6, 7, or 8 in summer school. So if you click on this link, it should take you to a Google Docs, Google form, and you just, record your email, put your name, pick your school site. What grade levels are you teaching? Have you taught it before? If you're teaching sixth grade, are you teaching all contents or are you departmentalized? And then finally, this optional question, is there anything specific that you'd like to let me know about so that I can support you? But before we get too far, I just forgot to mention, I will be out of town until June 4th. So that's why you're watching this recording instead of having a live Zoom session. But I will be available after June 4th. And if you have any questions before June 4th, please contact my colleague Marcelina Lirios, who is going to cover for me. Awesome. So back to our slides. You should have now opened the slides right here. You should have taken the attendance, and now we'll move on. So in math 6 through 8, here's the content focus that each grade level will cover. Math 6 is all about laying that foundation for algebraic expressions and equations. So really foundational skills that are going to help prepare students for what they're going to get in math 6. And also these are foundational skills for all of pre-algebra and all of algebra. In Math 7, we're going to focus on the very important topic of proportional relationships. That is super foundational for 8th grade, for Algebra 1, etc. In Math 8, we're going to do two topics, exponent rules and multi-step algebraic equations. So that's going to go up to variables on both sides, as well as the number of solutions to an equation, one solution, no solution, infinite solutions. We're not touching anything with two solutions. Okay, so that is the content area focus for each grade level. All right, this is important to say that mastery is not expected during summer programming. This is about enrichment. This is about laying a strong foundation. This summer, students are laying a strong foundation for what is coming up for them in the upcoming school year. So we don't expect mastery, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we are exposing kids to grade level appropriate content that will help move them forward and help them be more successful once they get to that grade level in the following school year. So each grade level will start with a pretest and will conclude with a post-test. The pretest is the same as the post-test. They're the same assessment. And your pretest is going to provide you a baseline. And your post-test is going to evaluate how successful both you and your students were at that time. So the pretest is going to take place on the first day of summer school, and it's going to allow 30 minutes, okay? This should not take long. This is 6 questions, and we're not expecting kids to know a lot about what they haven't yet been taught. So please only allow 30 minutes. We don't want to spend a long time assessing students when we have so few days during summer school to really get the content in their heads and taught and absorbed. Okay, after the pretest at the end of summer school. You've taught all the lessons, you've taught everything you can during this time, and you're going to give the post test. So I would encourage you to do this on the last day of summer school. However, different buildings may have different things going on. So this is going to take place in the last few days of summer school. And please don't allow more than an hour. It's still only 6 questions. If kids take an hour, that's 10 minutes per math problem. And that is a significant amount of time to do one math problem. So it really shouldn't take 60 minutes, but that's how much you should allot for them. So if you tap this link in the slides, then you will be able to access the pre and post test codes. Just to show you what that looks like, I'll go ahead and open it. Here is what it looks like. And you can see that we have Math 6, Math 7, Math 8. These are the keys. So if you want a student edition, you click on the one that says student. If you want to print it so you can do it on paper, you can have it there. If you want the key, it's right here. You'll give them this pre-test code. You can post it via Google Classroom or Canvas. I'm not 100% sure what each building is using this year for summer school, but you will need to post this link or give it to kids. That's how they'll take their pre-test. And then the post-test is here, and you'll do this at the end of your instructional period. You'll notice that for Math 6 and Math 7, there's only 2 links, but then in Math 8, there is one unprintable item. So just to quickly go over what that looks like. So if I click on this student edition and I go to question 6, you'll see that question 1, 2, 3, 4 are all working, but question 6 says it's not printable. And the reason it's not printable is because it's tech enhanced. It's a TE item. So to go to that TE item, you'll just come down here, back to the document, which has all the post-test codes, and you'll click on the unprintable item. And here you can see the unprintable item as well as the answer key. So if you were giving this on paper, give us just a moment to load, and you can see there's the item, and kids would have to click on this drop-down menu. However, since it's not tech enhanced, it's a piece of paper, they can't print it. So it's just a screen grab, and the answers are right here. One solution, infinite solutions, no solutions. So that's what this document is here for. And it's the only one, and it's right here. Okay, so just please be aware of that. So I'm going to go ahead and close the pre and post test codes document. Going to close the Math 8 test. Going to close the Google form just to capture the data of people who are here, just capture who's here. And we're gonna go back to our slides. So in our slides, again, pre and post test, we'll go to the next slide. So each one of these links is clickable. So you're gonna need the slides open, or you can get them from Marcelina, mlirios at kcpublicschools.org. And what you'll do here is you'll click on your content area. I already have them open, 8, 7, and 6 are right here, but you just click on this link and it'll open up your content. So let's presume that you are a 6th grade teacher and you are, just wanting to familiarize yourself with Math 6 for summer school. So this is the same as it was last year. You'll first notice that there's a student edition and a teacher edition. This is going to be where you print student-facing materials. It is not required that you print it. If you want to have kids writing things down or having the printable materials open on their device, I would encourage you to print it day by day, like it's 2 or 3 pages per day. And the reason I would encourage you to print it is so that kids have a place to capture their work. They don't have to spend all this time, and you don't have to spend all this wait time waiting for them to write things down. But yeah, so just to open what this looks like, this is what it looks like. You can see that it's multiple pages. It's 44 pages. Don't print all 44 at one time because you don't absolutely know that you'll get that far. You might need to cut things out. You might not want to have time spent on these application questions because of whatever is happening on in the classroom. So print what you need for a day or a few days at a time. But as you can see, this is all of the 6th grade content. And so that's, super worthwhile. And then here is the teacher's edition for the same equations part. Here's the expressions, same thing. Yeah. And so now into the slides. So this is just for Math 6. You can see that there are slides for each day. And then if you go to the map, and this is what's similar to Math 7 and Math 8, there's a map which describes exactly where you're starting and where you're going. On the left, you'll see let me zoom out just a little bit here. On the left, you'll see the standards. On the middle column here, what is the lesson? What's the learning target? In the third column, you're going to see the teacher prep and resources. And then finally, like a rough activity and agenda. So you can see day 0 is going to be, I presume today, the day you're watching this video, it's going to have all your resources. It's going to have, the standards that you're going to cover, as well as the ideas for what you should be doing today, you know? So today you're going to be preparing your classroom, you're going to be familiarizing yourself with the slides and the lessons. You're also going to look at Desmos. You also want to customize day one slides. All right, so here's day one. So if I'm a teacher, I'm going to click on this and it's going to force me to make a copy. Once I make a copy, this is my copy so that I can edit it and make these slides for me. If I'm, Mr. R teaching math six at whatever school, I shouldn't, have the same slides about me as a teacher at another building in another city. So, or another, not another city, same city, but you know what I mean? So like, for instance, about your teacher. So if I made the copy and then I would just say like, okay, my name is Mr. Ravindran, I have taught in KCPS for X years, etc. Throw some photos on here, tell your kids about you, etc. It's nothing too, personal, just to get a sense about, who you are. Um, and then expectations, routines, procedures. And this is the same for seventh and eighth grade. You're going to want to do this, establishing these basic rules, these basic things that are expectations. All right. I left 2 slides for that. Do as you see fit with that, 3 slides for that part in. And then the first thing is going to be the pretest. So you'll give the pretest and then you'll go from there. So then you can start with the first lesson. Okay. And that's it. That's day one. So we'll go ahead and take a look at another day. Let's take a look at day 3. So you can see here in day 3 that we have our lesson, we have our learning target, we have our standards, we have the slides, and the student-facing materials. So that's going to be page 281 to 286. So that's going to be 3 pages if you print front and back, which of course we should be printing front and back there. You click on the slides just to take a look at those. And finally, also, please take a look at the lesson plan. This is the lesson plan. It starts with the problem of the day. You explain that, the share and slow slide, etc. So all of this is pretty structured. And then there's even some optional stuff that you can find towards the bottom of the map. Anyway, into the slides, this is how it looks. You'd go into slideshow mode and you would go over them. You would take kids through this. What does that look like on their end? Again, the page numbers were 281 through 286. So I would scroll down to 281, which are numbered down here. So it's 274. I need to go to 281. Here is 281 coming up right here. Okay, here's 281. And this would be the first page that we do. You can see it talks about some vocabulary, and then it gives examples, and you would use the slide. So if we go to example 1, your task would be to lead students through this fill in the blank. Write the expression, okay? It's already written for them. And you can either show the teacher's edition. That's not what I would do. What I would do is work this out for kids. I would use the pen on my smartboard and fill this out and write on it. And of course, you're going to get the answers here from the teacher's edition. Of course, it says perform operations in, well, we're going to start in the parentheses, 13 minus 4. Then I'm going to write the number 9 right there. And then find the values of numbers with exponent, and that's going to be 2 to the 3rd power. And of course, we're going to put 8. So your task will be to lead students through the slides. They're filling it in on their printed paper. If you don't know, what goes where, you're getting that from the teacher's edition, and you're simplifying. Following the example, then you move on to example 2. You'll notice that there's explain why the order of operations is necessary. This is a discussion opportunity. This is an opportunity for kids to test things out and for you to lead them through why that is important. Then they share and show. They work by themselves. They work with a partner. Certainly up to you. Okay, so that's math 6 in a nutshell. Just going to scroll towards the bottom. You'll notice that the last couple days, I didn't want to overdo it, right? This is the last 2 days, day 14 and 15. We know we have to give the post test, so maybe that would be on day 15. But then day 14, you have a ton of different options for what you want to practice. Maybe you post 3 of them and kids can choose the 2 that they want to do. Or maybe you post 3 of them at the beginning of the quarter, or sorry, the beginning of summer school. You post 5 of them and you say these are all optional tasks, but you have to complete 2 out of 5 or what have you. So these are really easy to use. They're all digital. Kids can get on them and they're fun, some of them. There's also just worksheets. These are just worksheets that you can print that are aligned to what we did or what you did during the task. And then finally, the post test. So you'll give kids the link, which is right there. They'll take their post test, then you'll send them on their merry way, and we're done. So that's Math 6 in a nutshell. I'm not going to go over both Math 7 and Math 8. I'll only click on one of those. But again, back to the slides. Let's do Math 7. This actually, I didn't get a chance to update this, but it's even simpler. Go to the Math 7 map, and you'll see that it looks a little different. This is a little older. Haven't had a chance to update yet. The lessons are, there's lesson 3. You can see that this is from June 5th to June 9th. You're going to give the pretest, which is right there. Just post that link. And then here's the lesson for day 1, day 2, day 3. You can see a pacing guide. And then finally, just some optional materials that you can use for fluency practice, for etc. Just for fluency practice. You can see you have about 12 lessons to complete in about 12 days. If you don't get them all done, that's all right. You can condense them. You can pick specific parts. So this is all from the iReady curriculum. Still here, still worthwhile. It's about proportional relationships. There are no daily slides. There are daily slides. They're the second things. The second thing, these are from iReady, so they're not nearly as customized as the ones that I made for Math 6, but I'm going to get around to this one probably next year for next summer school. So you can see here, it's got a launch for your lesson. What's the same? What's different? So 8 buttons for every shirt is the same as 24 books for 3 shelves, because that's 8 books per shelf, right? And so kids could say that's the same. 8 cups of flour for 1 loaf of bread, that's the same. This one is the different one because it's saying, well, 1 cup of flour makes 8 breadsticks, but if you invert that ratio there, that's why it's the same. You could also say that 24 books over 3 is not a unit rate, right? So there's a lot of different answers here. And if you go into the teacher's edition, which I believe is there, you're going to find more information about how that works, why that is different. Notice all this vocabulary. There's a lot here. Just something to consider. And here you can see the same or different, right? So possible solutions. And your task would be to, of course, familiarize yourself before you teach this lesson. And then the kids would have their task. Their part would be here. Again, you're going to print this out for them. And, you might not want the dear family part. So definitely familiarize yourself, because you don't want to waste paper, certainly, because, I think it's important to be aware that this lesson, the practice problems are here, etc. So, definitely familiarize yourself, make sure you're printing the right things for the right days. All right, so back to our slides. I'm not really going to go over Math 8 too much because it's very similar to Math 7. You click there, you give the pretest, you teach the lessons, you give the post-test. Okay, Summer Academy supports the success of all KCPS students through enrichment, remediation, and community partnerships. There should be a lot of things going on with regard to summer school to facilitate a good experience for our students. Summer Academy, like I said, is for enrichment for a lot of kids and remediation for some. Your students who are there and don't have to be there to go to the next grade, which is going to be the majority of them, they're getting paid, right? They have to, if they come to every day of summer school, they get, I believe, a gift card. I can't remember the exact value, so definitely confer with your building admin on that. The goal here is to get kids through summer school and enrich them so that they're better prepared for the next grade. Understand the obstacles. The obstacles is that it's summertime and kids may have deficiencies that you might want to work on. There might be a lot of different obstacles. It's hard to say from before, it's going to be unique to your situation. It's all about a positive attitude. Here is going to help a long way, making it fun. You don't have to push that hard. It is summer after all. But at the same time, we do want to make sure that we are getting kids what they need to be successful. Don't doubt yourself. You can do this. Embrace the challenge. You know what I mean? Get paid. Stay on task. You do want to show growth on that post-assessment. You can do it. So can they. And that pretty much concludes this video. This video is really all about just getting you access to what you need. I encourage you to make sure you familiarize yourself with the slides before you familiarize yourself with the content and the curriculum before you teach. If you have any questions whatsoever, if you need anything, please email me. My email is aravindr@kcpublicschools.edu. kcpublicsschools.org. And I'll be available on June 4th to support with anything that happens. So that's that piece. And then if in the meantime, if you need help, mlirios at kcpublicsschools.org. That is the contact person until I get back, which, like I said, would take place on the 4th. Okay. Thank you all for watching this video. Please email if you have any questions. I will definitely be reaching out upon my return. So it's important that you complete the attendance link, which is here again. So please make sure you've completed that. And thank you all. Have a great summer program. And please email if you need anything. Thank you all. Goodbye.